What's up, guys? It's Hitch here, bringing you our very first episode of UMG Weekly. It's just a weekly series where we bring you the news that's happening that week. Our first story of the day is, of course, going to be the Call of Duty.
Oh, the double dab. Hello. Welcome to the STiKS 1v1 with Kingdom Soldier and Hitch. Oh, the dab is real. I just saw it on
super dab
on Twitch. You did like a triple.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited, guys, to be back on here and have none other than my man Davis hitch a ride. And I wanted to do this because of, not just because of his recent success, but for me, the greatest feeling is watching people that I've tried to invest in and pour into and help out when necessary, just watching them succeed. And I've been able to watch Hitch just have this meteoric rise. And I feel like we get a lot of what he takes, a lot of his footage. He talks on his vlog, but I want to do some behind the camera, so I'm going to be asking some specific questions. I already tweeted out, but we are going to do a point in the show. I'm going to allow you guys to ask questions live from the chat. Don't start typing them yet, but if you have some questions, just be ready to ask them. So before we get into it, Hitch, we just played a clip of you almost exactly 2 years ago. It was on February 4th of 2014, your first ever episode of UMG Weekly, which was actually the first time I ever saw you. And I think soon after that, you and I started hitting each other up.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are on the vlog in the chat. Hope you're typing. So I kind of wanted to ask you real quick before I have a feels moment, but before I get into that, I kind of want to ask you real quick, like, what, if you could sum up what's happened in your life in the last 2 years, how would you describe it?
Wow. Some of what's happened in the last 2 years, it's just like completely changed. I hit exactly where I wanted to be way quicker than I thought I would ever do it. So yeah, was going to school, went to UMG Philly, decided that this is what I want to do with my life. Basically stopped going to school, got 2 jobs, and then I had an in with UMG, so then I just started grinding. And 2 years later.
2 years later, you have arrived. 50,000 followers, 75,000. Well, I'm saying 75 because I'm pretty sure you're going to hit that today. But 75,000 subscribers on YouTube. And was it, how long ago did you have just like 6,000? Was that like 4 months? Something like that?
Yeah. In October, on Halloween night, I had, I think 7,500.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. Well, I did want to say that there's a difference between, I think one of the things that makes me, I guess the easiest way to say it is proud of you, is that as an individual and as a young man, you're 23, right?
Yes.
You've always given your best. You've always given 100% to everything that you've got your hands on, and it's been crazy to watch. People don't know the behind the scenes frustrations you love everything that every company's done for you, but there were those frustrations when you had amazing, groundbreaking ideas for companies that you've worked with, and they didn't have either the finances or the desire to do some of the things you wanted done. But you never let off the gas. You just always had this, they don't want to do what I want to do, but I'm still going to do what they're asking me to do, and I'm going to do it to the best of my abilities. You did it with whatever camera you had, whatever laptop you had, and whatever time constraints and whatever money they did or did not pay you, you always put in 100%. And I really believe that, I know that your mom's proud. I'm proud. I'm pretty sure that your dad would be proud of you. And the community, the people, your real fans are, of course, extremely proud of you. And I just wanted to get that out of the way because I look at you and I look at Goalie, who is producing this show right now. And when I met him, he was a frustrated esports competitor.
Goalie and I had like parallel paths for a long time.
Yeah, it's actually uncanny how things have just grown, and now Goalie is one of the most reliable esports behind the scenes personalities that is not a part of the conglomerate of MLG and Activision and all that kind of stuff. And so I'm just really proud, and I'm thankful for both of you for always. I've been through oodles of frustrations with goalie, his ups and downs, getting to where he's at, and nevertheless, he always picks up the sticks, picks up the mouse pad and the monitors, and makes his setup the best it can be, and continues to do what he's gifted to do. And I think you are gifted to do what you're doing, and we're only going to see you get bigger and better, in my opinion. So I just want to say thank you for always giving 100%.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a crazy journey, especially even with the sticks. Like,
yeah, the sticks was an integral part of all of us. It was an integral part of all of our journeys in gaming, and I'm amazed that this little vision that we received kind of from Hex a little bit, that Goalie and I put down, is now still in existence. We've had our ups and downs, of course, because of personalities coming and going, but we're still here. We're still reliable and consistent, and I appreciate it. So,
yeah.
All right, so I'm going to rattle off some questions now that I've gotten that out of the way. I have a good number of them. Some of them are, they're here and there, and you can answer however you want. And if you can't answer any, which I don't think that's possible, then we just won't tell Hector that you said those answers.
Okay.
All right. The first question, because I know that people ask you this every day. When are you going to be OpTic Hitch?
Man.
Why do we see graphic designers being OpTic Alpaca and OpTic Create, but we have not seen OpTic Hitch yet? Like, is there a reason? Are you guys playing a trick on us, or or are you just is Hector just really playing a sick joke on you and seeing how badly you want it?
Some days I'm pretty positive that's the case. Hex is just but Hex, this is like a different dynamic than anything OpTic's ever done. They've never had somebody come in for a specific purpose. They've never had. It's always been content creators living in the house. It's always been things like that, and so when Hex looks at what I'm doing for. Hold on, Hex just texted me. I'm just making sure.
Don't answer that question.
It's just like it's like a totally different, a different thing. Like I understand it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not, and when Hex looks at what my purpose is in the house, he doesn't look at my vlogs. Like he appreciates my vlogs, he supports them, he watches them, tells me what a good job I'm doing. But when the reason I'm here is for nation content, is for vision, for the podcast, for different things we have planned in the future. So that it'll come. I'm pretty sure it'll come with time. One thing that Hex hates is is being asked things. So I'm sure every time someone tweets him and says why isn't Hitch an OpTic, he's just like, oh my god. Like, so I mean, I understand it. It's obviously I'm crazy blessed to be in the position I'm in.
Oh yeah, of course. Well, I can't wait till if it does happen. The funny thing is, you're basically in OpTic anyway. You get the benefit of the brand. Like realistically, that's the biggest benefit that Hex always says. I don't give you anything. I just let you do it under the banner of the green wall, and you take advantage of it or you don't. You can like kill Amir and Ricky. He didn't force them to upload content. He just encouraged it. They could have taken advantage of it. People like Karma and Teep started to get back into uploading when he moved into the house briefly. Some players take advantage of it, some don't, And so I think you as a content creator, which is definitely a part of who you are, you do upload content and you take advantage of the fact that you live in the OpTic house. I mean, I wish the same amount of people watched your vlogs when you weren't in the house, but regardless, you're not taking advantage of it, like abusing the blessing, but you're doing what Hex would want you to do, upload.
Of course. And it's like and a lot of people do say that, I mean, of course the viewership just exploded when I moved here, but I was doing vlogs prior to being in the house.
And your videos were good. Like, I actually liked your videos. I liked the feel and I think you already had a niche, and then once you got OpTic to go with it, it just worked out for you, and it blew up. You couldn't, if you were whack and nobody wanted to watch you, it didn't matter if you were OpTic or not. You'd get a couple of viewers, but not the crazy growth that you're having right now, where 50% of your subs are watching every video.
Right. Yeah.
So since we're on the topic of Hector, you had a vlog last week. You and I think Nick was in the car with you, maybe, but you kind of described Hector as the little brother.
Hold on, let me turn my phone off. Okay. I know he's watching me now.
You described him as an annoying little brother, but you said, but he has to be that way, and you have to stomach it. You can't. There's nothing you can do to say stop being that way, because he's technically everybody's boss in the house.
Yeah. All right, keep going.
Okay. So then yesterday, I believe it was, in your vlog, or today, I don't remember which one it was, you were walking down the street with Hector, or maybe it was a couple days ago. You were walking down the street with Hector, and you said he just watched what I said. But you didn't say how he responded, and he didn't say a response. My question is, how did Hector respond when he saw what you guys said in that vlog?
When he was talking to me, he laughed and was like, "Dude, I saw you." He was like, "I saw you call me a little brother kid or whatever," and I was like, "Oh, you watched that?" And then he was like, "Oh, I was gonna respond and say, man, it's really unfortunate when you give people a chance and they don't respect it." And like, I was like, "Oh my gosh, that would have been such a dagger." But like, it's just all jokes. Like,
yeah.
Like how. It's hard. It's frustrating to have to explain your humor to some people, because some people take it so literal. You know what I mean? But the whole Hex will be the person that like he's never gonna call anyone. He's not gonna call himself your boss. Like, he'll call you like a teammate or whatever. But like, but then obviously, like, he's the person that everybody goes to and stuff like that. And my relationship with Hex is like a little bit different than everybody else's, just because of my position in the house and the fact that everyone else is usually like streaming or doing something, and it's me and Hex like going to events together and hanging out a lot. So it's like constant banter between the two of us. But
so to go on the positive side of things, like, I mean, it's obvious to all of us. We've all seen Hex throws shots more than anybody. Like, you know, when the team loses, they hear about it. You know, it's like, I've seen the episodes of, I've seen his own content when he's just open, like, you know, Imbo's finished higher than you, Nate shot. You know, it's like, I mean, he's always done that. He's created that atmosphere in the house. But he also is probably, people may disagree, but he's probably one of the most influential figures in our community. If you really think about, if you say that OpTic is the most influential team in terms of creating content, in terms of how to be a professional in this profession called COD Esports, and that all stems from Hector. It stems a lot from his own vision and values for OpTic. The STiKS wouldn't exist if it wasn't for his influence. There's a lot of behind closed doors Skype conversations that he has with people that nobody ever knows about. He gives people advice just because he sees their potential and says, I want to help that person. My question for you, I guess, is what is it that you think makes him so good at being such a great influence for the community in terms of positive change for people's lives, but then also in terms of just working hard and staying consistent at what you want for yourself?
Oh, it's literally gonna hurt my soul to answer these questions. And obviously, like everyone who's ever, I mean, maybe not everyone, but damn near everyone that's ever had any sort of success in the COD content side of things has been in a Skype call with just Hector, has just talked to Hector about. Did you hear that? Sorry.
What was it?
Somebody was just yelling. Somebody was just yelling. Oh, that was so weird. All right.
Vision time.
Has been in a Skype call with just Hector and has just talked about where they are, what they need to do, and, you know, I'm pretty sure everyone who has ever been in the Skype call has been in there so that they could somehow work with OpTic or join OpTic or something like that. And a lot of the times that doesn't work out. And I was in there and I said something like that. I was like, obviously everyone's end goal is OpTic, and he gave me the yeah. And that was like 4 months before Intel started. So like everyone has been like he definitely I'm trying to think. One good thing that people don't know is that if anybody's doing content, he always knows. Like he always knows who is streaming. He always knows who is tweeting. He always knows who is uploading. He has checked out. I guarantee you, if anyone has ever tried anything in Call of Duty esports, he has checked out your channel and he has watched your videos.
100%.
And then he has gone to your Twitter, see what you're like on social media. I mean, that's
100%.
And he has that kind of vision throughout all of Call of Duty esports. And that's just that. And it's I don't know. I think it's definitely something self-taught. Obviously, he took a chance, dropped everything, started doing content, then realized esports was, the way to go, and then pushed Nadeshot and pushed Seth as hard as he possibly could.
Yeah.
And that's that's where we are today. So
he'll if there was a Hall of Fame for COD esports, I mean, he'd be in there. I mean, he's I'm not trying to stroke his ego and all that kind of stuff, but I appreciate everything he's done for me. And one of the craziest moments of my COD career was the moment I found out he had been watching my videos, and he used to lurk the STiKS. Like even when the STiKS started, Hector was watching like every episode, and we didn't even know it. He would hit me up and like, "Hey, you said this," and I'm like, "What? You actually watched that? Like, I didn't know you watched the STiKS." And I appreciate that about him. I appreciate that he cares enough about all of us because he wants us to succeed that he'll peek in, like you said. He'll check in and see what's going on. All right, next question. And these are not going to stay thematic. They might bounce around a little bit.
That's perfect.
Does it ever get annoying to always be on camera? Like when you're always on, like somebody else is vlogging, you're doing vision. The house is full of cameras and selfies and camera phones and everything always going. Does it ever get annoying?
No, because there are a lot of times we aren't on camera. We do our own thing every once in a while. The guys, 3 of us watch Sopranos. Some of us, listen to music together. Like there's a bunch of different things that we do together that is not on camera. And then, if you ever go into those situations, like if I walk into the living room with my camera rolling and they're watching the Sopranos, they just look at me like, "What are you doing? Like, this is not the time." You know what I mean? And it always, that happens like a lot of the time. So,
and you guys respect that and just turn off the camera.
Yeah, of course. I mean, there are times where you turn on a camera. When you turn on your camera and somebody is with you, like Hex always says, if I'm ever on camera, if somebody turns on their camera, I'm gonna do well. I'm gonna deliver. I'm gonna try to make it as funny as possible. And everybody in the house is like that to a certain extent. Well, except Krem. Everybody's like that to a certain extent. But there's everyone understands that there's a time and a place for everything. So,
and I think so even those moments when it seems like there's a couple of moments where you'll get in a thing with Nick and he'll be like trying to tell you to turn off the camera. Do you judge how serious he is to determine when you're actually going to turn it off?
Oh yeah, you don't know how many times I actually have footage of him saying, "Dude, turn off the camera," and then that's when I actually turn it off. Like there's a distinct difference between. I mean, you see his joking side, but nobody sees his serious side, obviously.
Well, you did let us see on Vision when they lost online, or was it? No, that was Krim. Never mind, that was Krim. And, and he turned to you and said, "Turn the camera off." I mean, it was like, okay, he's serious.
Yeah,
you better turn the camera off. All right, I'm going too slow with these questions. Let me give you another one. So, there's this saying in my world. It says, "To everything there's a season." So, like I was thinking about you, me, and Fatty. We had an amazing season on the STiKS. Like it was, we made a legend out of nothing. We made a brand new brand that never existed, and we made it something that people wanted to. We were getting hit up by MLG. They wanted us to be on the show. I got to be on their weekly show a couple times, and that was awesome for me. Meeting all the pros and all that kind of stuff. You've had some amazing seasons when you're at UMG or Gamma, TK, where you poured your best into what the opportunities they gave you. If your OpTic season abruptly ended next week, what would you do if you could do anything?
Without giving too many specifics, because I'm going to do it.
Okay.
But I'll definitely do it as a part of out of what I'm doing now. Definitely, I would try to find some funding somewhere, and do a full length documentary about a certain esports community.
I wonder which one.
Whatever community that would be, we would figure it out. But
Yeah.
like pour my heart and soul into like an 8 to 9 month like production, and then I'd still vlog, I'd still do everything. I'd lose a ton of viewers, but I'd still I'd still do my thing, and because I love vlogging. Like obviously I was vlogging when I was getting an average of 600 views a video, and
Wow.
and now it's a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I would definitely do something like that. Because I'm definitely going to do an extended documentary at some point in my life, in my career. So,
well, you've hinted at some type of a project where when you hit 100K, that's going to involve your own life. So I'm sure that's going to be one of the most amazing things we've ever seen.
Yeah, I'm really nervous about that video because I haven't told. I mean, I haven't told anyone about.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's so I'm nervous. I've talked to my mom about it, like whether how deep I want to go, but we'll figure it out. That's not for a while.
Well, I'll tell you this. I don't watch White Boy 7 Street's videos anymore. I watched him back in like Black Ops 1, but I'm still subbed to him. Mm-hmm. When he came out with his part 1 and part 2 of his life, those were 2 of the best videos I've seen on YouTube. Like, because he told the entire story. Like he revealed his brokenness, and it was like, oh, wow. I'm not going to cry because somebody might be watching, but this is a lot what that dude went through, and he responded the best way possible, which was to create this gaming career. Like, well, I'm stuck in my room all day. I have a house by myself. I'm gonna, make a career out of it, and I think he did something great.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. You guys don't seem to show a lot of like beef in the OpTic house. I'm sure that's slightly intentional if it exists. Do you think that as Vision grows, is that something that will eventually find its way into parts of Vision, like drama between players and things like that? Or do you think for the sake of the brand, that'll be something that's always avoided?
That's kind of like that's a conversation that Hex and I have had many times about how reality show-ish do we want Vision to be. Obviously the Vision has been an outlet for a bunch of new ways to to talk to like the audience, like with Seth being over here, him going through relationship issues. Any other year in Call of Duty, he would never have even acknowledged why he was here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But sitting him down and doing an interview, and then me just popping that question, he was like kind of like taken aback, like, you're not supposed to ask that. And Hex was right there, and he looked at Hex. He was like, "How do you want me to answer this?" And so we found an appropriate way to answer it, and so it's like he didn't just say, "Man, I'm going through some crazy stuff," like and just spill every single detail.
Yeah.
Cover the basis of why he was there. So maybe if there's like an argument between players and we catch it on camera, that's something that would probably go in as long as people understand
that it's just it's part of the game, right?
Part of the game. You're going to have arguments with roommates and players, and when you have both in the same, like it's twice as bad. I'm sure the CS house is going to have some arguments. I'm excited about that. I'm stoked. I'm really
now if I'm like is there really they're gonna move into a house that has a pool in the middle of it? Like, was he joking or?
No, he wasn't joking about that house. That house is a real house.
That's crazy.
I believe that is also the house with the hockey rink in the backyard.
What?
But I'm not 100% about that.
Wow. All right. Well,
Yeah.
I'm excited to see that content.
Yeah, it'll be insane.
So, Vision has easily become one of the greatest pieces of content to come out of the COD esports community. What are the long-term goals of Vision, if you can say any of them? And let's say a TV station or something wanted to grab Vision and you had to stop doing it. Would you miss that?
Oh man, I think about that all the time because that's not like way out of that's like could very that's a very possible thing that could happen.
Yeah.
Of course I would miss it. There's aspects of it that I wouldn't miss, but there's a lot that I would. I mean, I love the fact, and like people always talk to me like, when are you going to get new editors? When are you going to get new cameramen? And it's like. Did y'all hear that?
No, what did he say?
He said, God, he's so funny, man. He said, I would be if that were to ever happen, I would still be the executive producer. So I would still be in charge of what happens.
Good guy, Hex.
Yeah.
Good guy.
So, yeah, also, like, obviously it would still be called Vision. It'd still be, something that I would pour my heart and soul into. But I guess I would miss the Vision calls on Sunday nights and staying up all night and not getting any sleep on Mondays. And
yeah,
I don't know. There's an aspect of it that I like really love the grind, but I really hate the grind.
It makes sense. It's another thing that's on your plate that keeps you extremely busy. But I think I'm interested to see when you guys make those leaps, because you lose a little bit of the hitchness of Vision, like the music and the way it looks and the feel of it. Like if people watch your other content and even watch the podcast, like you see this, there's a feel that your videos have. There's a way that you like to open them, and I would hope you would still able to influence as much of that as possible.
Yeah, I kind of.
Go ahead.
I like. I don't know. I feel like everybody, like music artists, have like a certain producer, and every one of those, like, they have a certain feel to everything. And so I kind of like the fact that I can be this like off-camera producer for OpTic content, where like they can see the videos and they're like, man, I like, regardless if they know who I am personally or not, they're like, man, these videos all have like a little bit of a theme to them. So
yeah, there's a feel to it.
Yeah.
All right, so I have a couple more questions before we take a commercial break. This next one is, how do you deal with negative comments? And to show us, I'm going to read you some.
All right.
And
We're getting ready.
These aren't as bad as some of the ones I've seen. And I'm going to read you some, and I just want you to kind of walk us through how you respond when you read something similar to a comment like this one. This one was kind of funny. It says, "Maniac is such a jerk to you, Hitch." Different word used than jerk, but I'm not going to read it. But it says, "Be an independent black woman and tell him off."
That's not bad at all.
No, that's not bad. Go ahead.
I don't know. I don't know what I would say to that. I have been an independent black woman many times and told him off, so it's just not on camera.
All right. This next one says, "Hitch, you need to shave those pubes off your face."
Yes. The last time I shaved, like completely, everyone was like, "Man, you look like a child. Never shave again." So there is no winning. I promise you there's no winning.
All right. Next one says, "I don't think vlogs are your thing, Hitch. You're just boring. LMAO. Stick to editing."
Wow. I think that's why people watch my vlogs, is for the editing.
Well,
I don't claim to be.
I
don't claim to be entertaining. I don't know.
But you see, I mean, I'm sure you see hundreds of comments. You're my favorite vlogger. You know, you're my favorite OpTic member. Blah blah blah. Like you have a It's the hardest thing to do when you get negative comments is to remind yourself of all the positive ones.
We talk about that all the time. I was just talking about it with Nick, and he was like, I just scroll down mindlessly, like not even thinking about everyone calling me like the best vlogger in the house, and I see one comment with no upvotes
And you're like,
that says something bad, and I'm just like, I want to. Yeah, and I feel like that's how everyone is at the beginning. But
all right, I got two more.
All right.
One more. This one says, bruh, you've aged like 5 years since joining OpTic. You need to make them let you get some sleep.
That is all Hex's fault.
All right, last one. And this one you actually saw on Twitter. I screenshotted it before you responded to it. You said, wow. I posted a picture.
I already know.
Yeah, from UMG Weekly. And this guy responded and said, back when he didn't have an ego, good times. Now, how do you respond? Like, I know you responded with wow, but what's your thought process like when you read comments like that?
I feel like when people say that I have an ego, it's just the same way that people say that Nick has an ego. It's like the more like followers you get, or the more people watching your content, you can't respond to as many people. So
100%.
For some reason, when people like ask me a question on Twitter and I can't respond, and then they take it really, really personally. So I feel like I don't have an ego. I'd like to think I don't.
It's not an ego. I was talking to Goalie about this. It's when you grow, you get to a certain size where you literally cannot respond to everyone, and you ego some people because you're responding to so many others. And when you grow, you now have other people with hundreds of thousands of followers that are tweeting at you. So your mentions aren't only people that are replying to you, it's people replying to people that you're talking to. Like if you and Seth go back 3 tweets, you may get 200, 300 mentions from that. And it may be people saying, oh, what about this? And what about this? Hitch, what do you think of my vlog? And what do you think of my YouTube channel? And, you know, it's like you can't respond to everyone. It is, I set up an email when I got to the point where my Twitter was just overwhelming. And some people sent to the email and I replied to them, and some people said they would and didn't. But it helped me filter, like, if you want my response, you got to work a little bit harder, because I can't respond to every single person on Twitter that wants me to watch their video. So
same with like, can you follow me for a DM? Like,
oh goodness,
I can't. No, I can't. I'm sorry.
Gosh, I'm happy I don't get those anymore. Those were really frequent back in the day. What question could I ask you that would make Hector nervous? You don't have to answer the question, but is there a question that you know would make him nervous if I asked you?
Yeah, plenty of questions would make him really nervous. Anything about any sort of sponsor ever would make him nervous.
That's like a closed door conversation 100% of the time.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm actually so surprised he like talked about it openly on a vlog, but he's nervous right now. I guarantee you, he's like, you better watch what you say. Because I was like thinking about like what I could say, and I was like, I know he's just shaking in his shoes.
He's waiting for you to mess up. Who is the most socially awkward OpTic House resident?
Krim. Next question.
Now people keep saying that, and I see him, like, it seems like he reads and stuff like that. Does he just spend a lot of time to himself?
No, it's this. All right, this is the real reason. He's not socially awkward like at all. Like he'll have any conversation with anyone. But it's just when he plays, for some reason, when everybody plays, they keep their door open except for Krim. Krim keeps his door closed and he just plays. And Krim plays for like 8 hours a day minimum. So whenever he's playing, we just don't see him. And then he'll come downstairs and he'll go like right back upstairs. So he watches movies in the living room with people all the time. So it's not like, I'm not saying he's like socially awkward, but as far as everyone else who's always gathering and moving and doing everything, and like you can walk into Nick's room, you can walk into Pamage's room, you can walk into Mike's room whenever they're playing because their doors are always open. So, but it's a little bit more inviting.
Okay. UMG Carolina and the Halo qualifier did not end up how the organization had hoped. Those were a couple of rough weeks.
I feel like South Carolina didn't end up how any organization would have hoped.
Yeah, that's very true, actually, including Activision. But what does it change the tone in the house when stuff like that happens? Like when it's back to back like that, like that kind of disappointment. Does it? Because you guys are recording all the time, you almost have to be happy. But does it change the tone in the house when that kind of stuff happens?
Kind of maybe for like a day.
Yeah, okay.
And then it just the COD team, they win so much, so this was just kind of weird for them. They were just like, man, that was so weird. It was just a weird event, and I think that's just what they chalked it up to. It was just it being such a weird weekend. And then the Halo qualifier, the Halo qualifier was kind of rough. Every once in a while, Nick will be like, God, I can't believe we lost that. Like, just like it's still in the back of both of their minds. I mean, they're grinding YouTube right now, or they're going to, and they're about to grind streaming as well. So they're putting their like efforts into other things. But there's a little bit of time where they're just like kind of sulking, I guess.
Yeah, they're like somber and kind of walking around.
Yeah,
their heads. I mean, and that makes sense. That's human. For when that happens, when you miss out on $1 million tournament, it's kind of that would make me cry. All right, last question before we go to a quick commercial break. I watch all of your vlogs. I sometimes watch them daily. I sometimes watch like 3 or 4 at a time, but I make sure I catch every single one. And I watch about a fifth of Seth's videos, so probably like 2 videos a week, maybe. The biggest reason I left the COD community is in order to be who I was, to be Kingdom Soldier, I had to literally live in the community. I had to live on Twitter and I had to live on YouTube, and and on stream. And if I wasn't willing to do those things and keep up with all the players, all the content, and all of the roster trades and all that kind of stuff, I started to see myself becoming a super detriment. And I was like, I can't analyze anything if I don't know what's going on. So, so I don't watch as much content, but I watch about a fifth of Seth, and then I'll randomly watch Krim and Mike. I do watch a good percentage of Hector's videos, and I'll watch other members of the OpTic house sporadically. Who do you watch in the OpTic house?
Wow.
And I know, now let me preface this question by saying, I think it would be impossible for all of you to watch all of everyone's videos. There's way too many people in OpTic gaming. There's way too many. But who do you watch by choice without, making some of the other players like, well, why don't you watch me, Hitch? But
nobody does that.
Who do you watch like in the OpTic house?
I watch a good okay, so in the OpTic house, people watch each other's videos that they know that they are in, and then they just skim the videos to
find themselves.
Yes, that happens with every single person in the house. But I watch Pamaja's montages. I watch some of Nick's vlogs. I watch some of Mike's vlogs. I watched actually a lot of Mike's Halo gameplay. I watch a decent amount of Hector's vlogs. Then and then Will's cut videos, like his funny videos. If I know they're gonna be really funny, I watch those.
So the theme in all of this is you do not watch a lot of Call of Duty gameplay.
Exactly.
That's what it sounds.
I can't remember the last time I watched a video. It was Call of Duty.
I listened to who you mentioned, and I'm like, okay, there's no Call of Duty gameplay in any of this.
I do watch Krim's like awkward vlogs. Yeah, I don't watch, I guess, COD gameplay.
You just avoid it. Yeah, and the funny thing for me is because I still play the game, not a lot, but I play about 10 hours a week. I don't know if that's a lot, but I still will watch like. I saw Scump put up a 70 bomb or something like that. I'll probably watch that at some point. Karma, when he comes out with random good plays that's like a minute, 2 minutes long, I'll watch that because sometimes he does stuff that just is ridiculous, and I just want to see it because I'm still a fan of the gameplay. That's the reason why I watch streams when there's events, So, but you're a fan of vlogging, so I mean, it makes sense that you would watch mostly vlogs.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna take a quick commercial break, guys. When we come back, I'm going to only give 5 minutes for this, but I'm going to let you guys put a whole bunch of questions in the chat, and I'm going to catch some of them because they're going to be going fast, so I'm not going to catch them all. Make sure you guys follow the stream. If you guys need some G Fuel, make sure to use the code STiKS or Kingdom, doesn't matter. 10% off. They got the new flavor, which I just drank a lot of. It's actually pretty good. Caffeine-free version. But we will see you guys on the other side of, I think, 90 seconds, however long goalie says so. So we'll be back in a minute. Peace out. This is a new dab. It's the up dab.
Oh God! Oh man, I like it.
You saw it here first on the STiKS. The upward dab. All right, so get ready, guys. Goalie's gonna switch the overlay so we can see the chat on screen, so that when we put this on YouTube, you guys can see the chat. But on the count of Hitch, I want you guys to start asking me questions. I see you guys are already throwing some in there, so great. I want to, and I'm going to ask as many as I can, as many as I can grab out of the chat. All right, first one. OpTic Intel, what happened? Where is it at? Is it going to still exist? I'm talking to you, Hitch. Are you not allowed to answer this? Is he talking? We can't hear you. We can't hear you. No phone. Hello?
Hello.
Yep, there you are.
Well, that was weird. Okay, OpTic Intel. We did not know what was going to happen whenever I came here, and then when I came here, I started focusing like crazy hard on nation content.
Yeah.
And I don't know the whole reason. We still don't know. That's the bottom line.
Okay.
We just
Maniac's sister, yay or nay? You want to skip this question, Hitch? I just read it out of the chat.
Yeah, let's keep it moving.
All right. Oh, I don't want to ask that. What was your favorite moment living in the OpTic house?
Wow. Probably recording and editing the CSGO cliffhanger for that one vision, because just seeing how the community responded was pretty crazy.
Okay.
Because we uploaded it, and it was like I think it was like 23 minutes long. So we uploaded it, and people were still typing, like they were commenting on the video like 19 minutes after it went live. So I knew they hadn't seen it yet. And then like 30 minutes later, the whole Twitter, like that's all they were talking about. So it was kind of crazy to see that.
I have to ask this because it's stupid. Have you ever considered going back to school to learn how to smell?
That's so dumb.
That's the stupidest question. Oh my gosh. All right. No, gosh, you guys are asking the same questions that I can't ask over and over. Is there ever going to be an OpTic Blake? Another question you can't answer? We can't hear you, Hitch. The aux cable. It's the aux cable. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Yep,
hello.
You're back.
Okay, Blake shot for us at South Carolina. He went there with me and shot a few, and then gave it the pictures to Hector. So definitely in the future, it won't be OpTic Blake, but he'll be working with us with OpTic.
Okay. What do you do when nobody is recording, or what goes on when nobody is recording in the OpTic house? I know you kind of answered this. You guys just watch TV?
Yeah. Well, there's like different things that everybody does. We watch TV or watch TV shows or hang out, watch or listen to music. We rap sometimes. There's like a lot of different things that we do. Sometimes we have little party get together things here with some friends from the area.
Mm-hmm.
But
will OpTic ever get a Smash player?
maybe it's possible. It's
Okay.
possible. I mean, expansion is always something that Hex is looking at.
Who is your COD father?
Wow. Probably Blake.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Before I Blake and George, the two people I play with, they raised me up in the COD as far as gameplay is concerned. Who's my vlog father?
Your vlog. Well, we know the answer to that. I think
Okay.
maybe.
Carry on, please.
Oh wait, that question. Somebody had a good question, but it's already gonna be in the questions from Twitter. Is Bo still actively like looking for a pro team, or is he just gonna stay on?
I'm not sure. He's killing it on YouTube right now, playing a lot with Made. I'm sure he actually. I think he does want to compete. But it all depends. I mean, it's like a weird time right now for people who aren't in the CWL. So
Yeah. Are you confident that I'm just throwing this out there? Are you confident that the next Call of Duty is going to help us continue to grow?
Yeah, I think you're
Okay.
yes.
What was your? All right, I'm only asking two more, guys. What was your dream job as a kid?
Wow. As a kid,
Mhm.
man, like how early? Like I want to be a
say 10.
firefighter early.
We'll say 10.
Probably like a professional football player or a soccer player or an actor.
Really?
Yeah, that's like still something that I would really want to do.
But you always be yourself. I've never seen you act. I don't think. I wonder what that would be like.
Yeah, me too.
Who is the dirtiest member in the OpTic house?
Raj. Next question.
Really?
Yes.
Now, is it just his room, or does he mess up the rest of the house?
That's what makes him messy, or that's what makes him dirty. Is that he'll go into other people's rooms with like a thing of cereal and eat it and just talk to you. You'll have having a conversation, and then he'll just leave, and then the cereal is right there on the chair. Like, oh my gosh.
Oh man. Who is your favorite? All right, last question. Who is your favorite non-esports YouTuber, if you have one?
Non-esports YouTuber. Probably either it's a toss-up between Fun for Louie and Casey Neistat.
Fun for Louie. Okay. All right. Thank you guys for all those questions. I'm sorry I didn't get to all of them. I saw some weird ones in there that would have been good, but they were going so fast. I was trying my best to keep up. And thank you, Dan, for the awesome overlay that had the chat on it. That's pretty cool. Goalie, you can switch back whenever you want. Oh, look at that. Awesome.
Look at that.
You're just so skilled. All right. So now I'm going to do some questions from Twitter. I think they might appear on the screen, maybe. Okay. So Goalie is saying they will. All right. First question, Hitch, is from at GT somebody maybe. I guess that's gamer tag, somebody maybe. And he says, on a scale of 0 to Casey Neistat, how would you rate your vlogging skills?
So I'm guessing Casey Neistat being a 10.
I would imagine so.
I don't know. Probably like a 6, 7, maybe on good days.
Chat, tell me, rate Hitch's vlogs from 0 to Casey Neistat. Casey Neistat's a 10. Just put it in the chat. I'll start the next question, but we'll be looking because we're 15 seconds behind you guys. All right, next question, Hitch, is from Louis Perez. I won't read his at. It'll be on the screen. I've got the best question. When the time comes, who do you think Hex is going to leave OpTic to?
When the time comes?
Yeah, when the time comes for him to pass on OpTic Gaming to someone else. You? Oh man, do you really mean that?
I don't know. That's never gonna happen. Hex is gonna be like 80, can't think straight. He's still gonna be trying to vlog. It's not. He's never like OpTic's never going anywhere.
I can picture Hex at 80 years old with a cane, like So tell me why you guys haven't picked anybody up yet.
Doing would you rather when he was 80. Would you rather sit on a cake? Yeah.
And Nate will be with him. I think they'll rejoin. They'll be the Wonder Friends again. All right. Next question is from Nick of 440. He says, when did you realize that something could come from photography and videography? When did you realize that was something possible for you to do long term?
Wow. I guess when I saw the Smash Brothers documentary, I started going looking at interviews with the guy who made it.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, he literally went into so much debt, like maxed out like 4 credit cards or something like that, like making the documentary. And then afterwards he said, all right, I made this documentary, it's getting millions of views, but this is what I had to do. And so then he made like a Kickstarter, and he got all of his money back plus more. And like, that's when I was just like, man, that's insane. Like, that's something that like, that people, if you create something and people enjoy it, the money part will just come. So that's when I was just like, okay, I could do this, I guess.
So let me add on to that. Tell me about the most, if you can, the most difficult time on this long journey you've had. And I know some of them, me and you've been in Skype and you've showed me emails and stuff, but like, tell me about the most difficult time that you've had when you were waiting for even when you got to OpTic, you still had to wait, to see the success that you're seeing right now. Like, can you describe what it was like when you were at, one of your lowest points where you were like, maybe I should throw in the towel. Like, this just isn't, I've been grinding too much to not have any success, financial success, like growth on YouTube, Twitter. Like, tell me about when you were at a place like that. Describe what that was like and how you pushed yourself out of it.
It was like 2 times. One was right before the Intel thing became a possibility. Like, things with Gamma were just they were good. I love the guys at Gamma, but it was just,
yeah,
I don't know. Just, yeah, it was a little bit of a struggle, just because there was no way of making money like at all.
Yeah.
And I was grinding. I forgot how hard I was grinding for a little. Like, I was like grinding for like 1,500 views a video, on the Gamma channel, not even on my own channel. So it was a struggle. But then there was also a time in Intel, actually, when a bunch of things behind the scenes just kind of caved all at one time. And nobody knew what was happening in any situation. And there was a time where like I was like dating someone at the time, and I was just like, I think this is it. Like, it just sucks because I got to OpTic, I got to where I always wanted to be, and then like everything just crashed. And then I remember sending Hex a Skype call and just being like, Intel's, or sending him a Skype message. I was just like, Intel's like gonna die. Like, it's gonna die like very, very soon, because everything is just, basically going to shit. There's no other way to say it. So and he messaged me back and said, LOL.
We can't hear you.
Okay. I have it somewhere. I don't know where. On an old Skype message, and he was just like LOL, like, no, like, if I have a vision, I'm gonna see it through no matter what bumps in the roads happen. And I was just like, and he sent me that. I was talking to to my girlfriend at the time, and I was just like, I don't know what to do. And she was like, well, if you're gonna do it, like, freaking do it. Like, don't half-ass it. So
100%.
So then literally that night after that conversation, I got on my phone in a Skype chat with everyone. And I think that was the regionals Ghost tournament that OpTic ended up winning. And we crushed it. We killed it. And it was weird because like I led the charge. Like, I told everyone like who was going to make graphics, who was going to do content, who was going to tweet out at any certain time. And we just, we crushed it. So that was like a really low point. And then I just kind of like
push through.
It's just like, yeah, like I it's like come too far. So
That's
those-
awesome, man.
yeah,
That's
those probably 2 times.
that's hilarious. His response.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You're like pouring your heart out, like it's gonna die. Like, LOL.
LOL. Yeah, it happened. I'm gonna find it after this.
Oh my gosh. All right. So yeah, people are gonna start asking for it on Twitter.
Yeah.
All right. Next question is from Nerve, and he says, "Is it ever awkward recording?"
Yeah, definitely. It's really awkward. There was actually a whole really unfortunate scenario. The second I got the big camcorder mic or the big
Yeah.
camcorder, we got 3. I think we got 3 whole sessions with absolutely no audio.
I
Just
remember that.
because there were just different things that were happening in it, and they were like the best. One of them, APG was over, and we were all talking about Halo and about how OpTic sucked at the time. And then there was another one where Mike was talking to Nick about how he thought he was going to have to drop Nick. And
What?
I was recording it with the 2 of them talking to each other, and I was recording it, and it was so awkward. It was not like so awkward me being there, just the whole situation. I've never dealt with anything like that. And
Yeah.
and I felt more awkward than either one of them did, because both of them have dropped players, both of them have picked up players. They've both been dropped before, So
Yeah.
they were dealing with it very professionally and very like, this might happen. We're going to run with a bunch of different people.
Yeah.
But we might go with 2 other players. And so that
Wow.
one got a little awkward. And then also Krem hates it when I record him, so he's always a little diva.
Yeah.
So that can
Now, how sucky was it when you realized you didn't record the audio in that conversation?
I literally, like, Hex wasn't even really that mad because I was mad. Like I cared about it like more than anything, especially the APG thing.
Yeah.
The Nick thing, they ended up not dropping Nick. So and I had another shot of them like talking about who they were going to run with together.
Oh,
So
okay.
it kind of worked out. But the APG thing was like just him being over at the house and talking about Halo. It was like a 35-minute session with absolutely no audio. So it just it was like
Wow.
I'm still hurt that that we don't have that.
That sounds painful. I mean, that's really, really good content that, you know. But the way you described it, we've watched enough of Vision where I can almost picture it in my head.
Yeah.
As you're saying it, I can picture it happening. And those guys, like, when they won the that qualifier, like that moment, like how many viewers did Mike have in his stream?
I think like 31.
Yeah, that moment was ridiculous. Like, I'm so happy to see our community right now. Me and Goalie were talking about this, but just there's this weird camaraderie happening. Like CS:GO, Halo, and COD are all kind of like in this great relationship. And again, of course, OpTic is being used as one of the places where we really get to see how they can all mesh together.
Yeah.
Because even though Envy has done it, we don't get to see them together. You know, Hastro's off living in Paris or whatever with the CS:GO team, and they're in a different place. And I think Hex getting an NA team for CS:GO was actually a great decision, because we'll get to see that house. We get to see Halo players. We get to see COD players, and it all mixes. So you have audiences that are now starting to watch different esports and not hate on each other like CS:GO and Call of Duty were like last year, you know, when it was like people just, Advanced Warfare sucks, CS:GO is where it's at, you know. So I'm really excited about what you guys are doing and the opportunities that OpTic is providing the rest of our community to just put down, squash some of that beef, and just, you know, I love watching Halo tournaments right now. Like, to be honest, like,
Same.
it sucks that they didn't win, but I love watching Halo tournaments, and the game, it makes me want to play sometimes. I'm like, okay, I just want to play Halo right now.
Same. Yeah.
All right, next question. I think we got 2 more and then we'll be done. How did your business and personal relationships start with OpTic?
Met Hex at UGC, Hex and Nate Shot at UGC Niagara doing the Mean Tweets video for UMG. I think ever since then he like knew who I was, because he was like, "Oh man, this is a really good idea. We were gonna do it, but we'll do it for you." I was like, "Cool." Then did a mean tweets video a couple of times at Gamma, and then the STiKS happened, got him on there, and then he followed me after one of the STiKS series or one of the STiKS episodes that we did, and so and then and then from then on we started talking. At first it was all about photography because there was a bunch of weird photography drama at one point.
I remember.
Yeah. that was pretty juicy. So I talked to him about that, and then and then we started talking about videography from there, and content and stuff like that. And so then it all, and then at that point he would come up to me at events and start like shaking my hand and saying like chopping it up or whatever. So at that point, it was always been a pretty positive relationship.
Yeah, you get on that. We've had some people, on the STiKS that have told us that you don't want to get on the bad side of Hector or OpTic Gaming. We've had pros say that. We've had owners say that. Some people have just decided, I don't care. I'm going to prove that without Hector's help, I can be just as big or bigger. And I think.
Sorry, that was bad. I shouldn't have said that.
And so, but I do. I think like you kind of hit it on the head with the little brother comments. It's like, regardless of what you think Hector's personality or characteristics that you don't like, or ego or whatever you think he has, or you think he pumps up himself, whatever it is people think about him, the good so far outweighs the bad, that it's just too good of a relationship to squander or to create beef in unnecessarily. Like when the blacklisted stuff happened, like it was like, why would you do that to yourself? Why would you ever do that as a professional player? Pit yourself against OpTic Gaming. It just does. I mean, why would you do it to any team, but especially this organization that all of you would admit I want to play for one day? It's weird to me. I asked Hector one time when I did had him on the STiKS or 1v1, and I asked him, I think it was his 1v1, and I said, how come you guys don't ever talk negatively about the game, about Activision? And he's like, don't bite the hand that feeds you. That's just his thing. He's like, why would I talk negatively about Activision or a game that's coming out? He's like, I let the guys objectively say what they think. And we've seen Nadeshot objectively say what he thinks about a game when he doesn't like it. But Hector's always been kind of like positive. Like, yeah, we'll do an Activision LAN and we'll get more viewers than you would if you did it yourself. And so I kind of appreciate that. And I wish more people in our community, when it doesn't involve Hex, when it's something else even, would just bite your tongue sometimes. It'll get you so far. I mean, just bite your tongue. All right, last question from Twitter. Are you where you expected to be, and what's your dreams in the future? And this is really cool. This guy hashtagged UGC Niagara and put a picture of you at UGC Niagara taking footage of Scump.
I did see that. Yeah, I remember seeing that. I was like, wow, I don't even know how he got that picture.
Oh, that's a good point, actually, because that's probably from a player.
So long ago. That was my second event ever. I'm not where I thought I would be in like the most positive way ever. Obviously, I did not ever think this was going to happen. So I remember actually calling Blake one time and being like, I'm gonna wear green by next year, and I said it like cockily, joking and stuff like that. And then 2 months later, I joined Intel. So it was like hilarious how that happened. But the Intel thing was like really lucky that, Intel came along at a certain point when I needed somewhere to go, and there was really not a lot of other people at the time. Now there's a lot of other people that do what I was doing back then. Yeah. But there really wasn't when it first happened. So I got really lucky, and then also, worked really hard at any situation or any opportunity that came out. So yeah, I'm definitely not where I was expecting to be at this time. But in the future, I'm not I grinded so hard to get here. I'm never gonna leave. I'm never gonna leave like willingly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as far as like, I might get kicked out. But as far as content is concerned, I do want to continue to improve. I mean, eventually, I want to get some sort of degree in whatever I'm doing. I do want to, transition at some point into really big projects, whether that be, a full scale production of Vision every single week, or that be, different documentaries or things like that. I definitely have fallen in love and like self-taught everything that I know about videography and then kind of fallen in love with it.
Awesome. Well, I of course greatly appreciate you being on, man. It's no secret that I think I tweeted it out a couple months ago. Like, it's cool when someone who you approached me way back in the day because you were asking me if you could show one of my videos on UMG Weekly.
Hey, it's crazy how time has just flown.
It's nuts, bro. But like, I've become a fan of yours, and it's just so. I'm sure it's got to be weird for you sometimes, like going from being Hitch that was like grabbing to get to where you're at and get some recognition, and you thought it was going to take years, and now you're at a place where, I mean, Mochilla was tweeting at someone else today. He didn't even tag you, but he was tweeting at Krim, and he was like, Krim was saying he's been working out, or you guys went to the gym, and he's like, dude, Hitch is bigger than you. It's like your name, your handle has found its way into the professional community, and you've done it. It was one of the things that I used to say that I was able to do back in the day is I'm a non-pro player. All I do is talk about these guys and their games, but I found myself being a prominent member in the community and a reliable source for content, even though I never picked up the sticks and did anything competitively. I have 2 GB points, I think, because I've played 1 GB or 2 and we lost one of them in my whole, like, in the 7 or 8 years I've been playing Call of Duty. I mean, it's crazy. But I wanted to ask to kind of close and I know you probably don't like questions like this because I know you think a lot of it is just you're kind of blessed, timing was right, you can't put a name on it. But for people looking at Hitch and saying, how do I get started? Like, where I get these questions all the time still to this day.
Yeah.
How do I get started? What are some tips for me when I get involved at the beginning? Like, they're at you 2 years ago and they want to make quality content. They don't have the equipment you have now. They don't have the ability to get pro players to be on their show, on their blogs and stuff like that. What advice would you give to someone trying to get involved in the esports community when it comes to content creation?
I would always say, I guess I'll use an example because it actually ended up working out. Jamal, do you know who Jamal is?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Jamal asked me the same thing. And he actually does know some pro players.
He does.
Yeah. So I was talking to him and I was like, man, he was just like talking about my content all the time. Like all the time is what he was talking about. And I was just like, man, you're in a position that I would have killed to be in, a year and a half ago. He was like, there's no way that's true. And I said, people, different people in different areas and you can use your content and the content that you can create for another company. Like you have access to different things. And he was like, and I was like, I didn't have anything at all. Like I went to UMG. I went to UMG just with my friend, and I didn't know anybody there. I ended up joining UMG and still didn't know anybody in the entire scene and just had to, work my way and build different types of relationships with different people. And Jamal was like, man, that's crazy. He ended up, talking with Replays and Replays joined Luminosity. And now Jamal is doing videography work for Luminosity. It's like, there's different things that like how I did it. I didn't do it where I just started uploading every single day all the time and hopefully, and just hope that people would start watching. It was like, I always found outlets where I could help other people, help bigger companies. And then at the same time, grow my personal brand. So if anybody and hit it from every single angle, like when before the OpTic thing, when people were talking about when they first discovered me, they'd be like, man, I first discovered Hitch because he was sniping, because he was in TK, because he did rap videos, because he was on the STiKS, because he uploaded top 100 montages on Gamma, because he was a videographer at a Smash event and he does combo videos. Like, people would say that about me, and I don't know, it's just how I did it was a little bit different. I just tried to hit it as hard as I possibly could because I really, really, really wanted it.
That's, I mean, yeah, ditto. I think you had you did as well as you could, and you took everything seriously. And of course, eventually, when you do that, I don't remember who it was. I don't think it was Neslo. There was someone. It wasn't Hector. There was someone that told me. Maybe they didn't even tell me face to face. Maybe I was watching a CNNer's video or something back in the day. But he was being asked about how to grow on YouTube and stuff like that. And he was like, if you create quality content, if you give it your all, and even no matter what you could have a dazzle, just do the best you can all the time and consistently, and be consistent with it, you'll eventually get noticed. Like, people would say, well, I don't know anyone. Well, you're not supposed to know anyone right now because your content is crap. And
yeah,
if Nate Shot came along with your content, he'd be like, this is garbage. Like, why would I tell anyone that this is good? Why would Hitch tweet out your video? Or why I think people ask for a lot of handouts, but I always respond to people on Twitter. I do it religiously. I say, because there's a known guy in our community that DMs and says, can you like my video? Or can you?
I literally know exactly who you're talking about.
I know you know who I'm talking about. But I always respond, and I'm like, I tweet out, I like, I favorite, I comment on content that I actually watch and that I like. It is a bad decision for me to fake like your content.
Yes.
That is, why would you want me to do that? It's like, why would I endorse it? And then why would you want me to do it? You want to get noticed and then have me go, wow, I saw a lot of people liking your video. I checked it out and I actually liked it. This was good. Let me tweet it out. Tommy Esports, he's in the STiKS. I don't tweet out all his videos, but randomly I will tweet out a random one that may help him get more views because I actually am engaged in that video and I like it. And I'm like, wow, it's like, this is really good. I like this concept. I want other people to talk about it. So I'll tweet it out. So I think the best way to grow is just stay in it, let's grow. Just stay focused, and you will grow. It'll happen. I'll be honest with you, I do feel bad for guys that these days are creating quality content, but the community is so saturated with pro players, which is good. Everybody's now making content that they can't really grow like I did. They can't, and you can't grow like you did unless you get on an org that has large viewership, and so it is a harder environment right now. I'll admit that. But I think keep making videos, keep doing what you're doing, keep your day job. You're not going to be.
Please keep your day job.
All right. Anyway, thank you guys for watching the STiKS 1v1 today. It'll be on the STiKS channel first, and then it'll be on my channel. Either way, just make sure you guys check it out and tweet it out. Thank you, Hitch. I really, really appreciate it, bro. And I'm going to continue to watch you grow. And I will say this to the 268 of you that are still in here. I'll consider trying to do some 1v1s more frequently. I'm not required to necessarily watch all of the Call of Duty content to do this, to do interviews and to ask people questions. I'd love to have Hastro actually on one of these. He's been on the STiKS before, but I'd love to have him on a 1v1 and just ask him about all that's going on in his world right now. And there's some other players that I'd like to bring on and things like that, some phase players. And so anyway, this is your boy Kingdom Soldier and Hitch a Ride, and we will see you guys in the next STiKS 1v1. Peace out.